Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Last week we spoke about the two different types of, or two different aspects of sakina, having tranquility in our salah, around our salah, and then in our life. The next chapter is Babu Ikram al-Dayf, honoring and having the right hospitality for a guest, how to host and what the mindset should be. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, he narrates from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This hadith is a beautiful narration, even though it's under this chapter, but it has three different lessons for us. That man kana yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhir, that a person who believes in Allah in the final day, then he should do three things. And he said it, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said it each time. He said, فَلْيُكْرِمْ ضَيْفًا. And then he said again, وَمَنْ كَانَ يُؤْمِنُ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ فَلْيَصِلْ رَحِمًا وَمَنْ كَانَ يُؤْمِنُ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ فَلْيَقُلْ خَيْرًا أَوْ لِيَصْمُتْ. That a person who is a believer, he or she should aim to have these qualities. If you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the final day, فَلْيُكْرِمْ ضَيْفًا. This first one. You should have honor, or you should honor your guests. Right? وَمَنْ كَانَ يُؤْمِنُ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ. The second one. فَلْيَصِلْ رَحِمًا. That you should join relations. You should make sure that if there's any, there's any grudge, or there's any two people that aren't speaking, and it happens it's very common, more than we think. You may think that everyone is just, close together and everyone is, just getting along. No. There's a lot of people that harbor ill feelings, and then they stop talking, and, there'll be, like groups will fall apart, right? So this is, and I think we spoke about this too, maybe like a few weeks ago, or 1 or 2 months ago. But this is one of the qualities of a believer, that he joins relations. And the last one, وَمَنْ كَانَ يُؤْمِنُ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ. Again, he's saying the same thing. A person who believes in Allah in the final day, فَلْيَقُلْ خَيْرًا أَوْ لِيَصْمُتْ. This is not under the chapter for today, but this is a very crucial one. That either speak good or remain silent. This can save us or ruin us. Literally, this is the bare bones of our akhlaq in many cases. Many times we like to say things, or we like to get involved in things that have nothing to do with us, or that there's no benefit. And if we look at the habit of the Sahaba radwanullahi ta'ala alayhim ajma'een and the pious predecessors, they would be very, very careful with what they say. Because once you say something, you can't take it back. You can't reverse it. It's too late. Right? Many times we're saying things, and if you think about it later on, if Allah gives us the opportunity and the tawfiq to think about it later on, we see that, what were we saying? There was no benefit to it. Right? So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is giving us a principle to follow in our life. Say something good, or just stay silent. Because there's no benefit. If you I think there was one, I believe it was a Sahabi, he told his son, I don't remember who it was, but he had told his son or his one of his relatives that if you're going to say something, first check, is it beneficial? Then say it. If it's not beneficial, then obviously you stay away from it. Or if it's sinful, then obviously you stay away from it. And if it's not beneficial, then there's no point of saying it, right? So this is a simple rule for us that we always keep in mind. And even as children, this hadith is always taught to children. فَلْيَقُلْ خَيْرًا أَوْ لِيَصْمُتْ. Or مَنْ سَمَتَ نَجَى. The other version of this, that a person who remains silent, they are safe, right? And if you stay quiet, you're not held accountable for anything. But once you say it, then you're accountable. Lastly, in the next narration, the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned the same verse, the same words, مَنْ كَانَ يُؤْمِنُ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ فَلْيُكْرِمْ ضَيْفًا. And then he added جَائِزَةً. that make sure that you honor the guest and give him his rights, him or her their rights. So someone asked, or the Sahaba asked, وَمَا جَائِزَتُ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ. What is the rights or the reward or the, what should be done for the guests? So the Prophet ﷺ said, يَوْمَهُ وَلَيْلَتَهُ, at least one day and one night. وَالضِّيَافَةُ ثَلَاثَةَ أَيَّامٍ, and the full hospitality is 3 days. Right? This is now for the host and the guest. Both people have to keep this in mind. Many times what happens is guests, they'll come or we'll go stay somewhere and we overstay. Right? So this is, subhanAllah, our deen has so much to it. I'm not going to make this too long, but our deen has so much to it, and every small detail is there. We just have to look. Right? Who would think that a religion talks about how long a guest should stay? Right? But the Prophet ﷺ is telling us, ثلاثة أيام. This is a good time. You don't want to overstay, you don't want to burden the host. Right? And then he says, فَمَا كَانَ وَرَاءَ, whatever after that, after 3 days or 3 nights, there's nothing wrong with it. A guest can stay, or a host can take care of them. You're not going to kick out your guest and say, okay, the Prophet said 3 days. He said, فَهُوَ صَدَقَةٌ عَلَيْهِ. If you do that, that's also charity. There will be reward in it as well. But we should keep it in mind that we're not overstaying and becoming a burden. And this is the beauty of our deen, that in our deen, any aspect of life, any situation is all found in our deen. There's nothing that you can't find an answer in the deen. This is something that we have to understand, and we have to start looking into the deen. Anything we have anything we're dealing with, we look into the Quran and Hadith, we will find the answer. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to appreciate these small points in our deen. Ameen wa akhir da'wan alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام وتباركت يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم إنا نسألك رضاك والجنة ونعوذ بك من سخطك وغضبك والنار. اللهم أجرنا من النار. اللهم ادخلنا الجنة بغير حساب. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين. اللهم انصر المسلمين في كل مكان. اللهم انصر المسلمين في كل مكان. اللهم انصر المسلمين في فلسطين. اللهم حرر المسجد الأقصى. اللهم حرر المسجد الأقصى. اللهم حرر المسجد الأقصى. اللهم إنا نسألك من خير ما سألك منه نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، ونعوذ بك من شر ما استعاذ منه نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وأنت المستعان وعليك البلاغ، ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. ورحمة الله الرحيم.